Hi everybody, welcome back to our YouTube channel, Twins with Wheels. I'm Kelly.
I'm Kristen.
And we are here with our best friend, Lori Lynn Hall, who we are going to be kind of, not interviewing, kind of talking with. And just having having some fun. We have some wine, we have snacks. We're going to have a good old time, so.
Everything's better with the wine.
Welcome everybody, here we are. And like I said, we're going to have just a kind of casual conversation here with our best friend here, Lori Lynn. So to give you some background, how we met was actually in college.
30 years ago.
30 years ago. We met because we were both pledging a sorority at our college.
Actually, all three of us were pledging a sorority.
That's true. All three of us were pledging the sorority. Then now I have two people who are going to be correcting me. This is going to be lovely. I can't wait for this evening. So, three of us were pledging a sorority. And we had, 18 or 20? Do you remember 21. How many girls?
21, right? 21. See, I told you.
21? So 21 in our pledge class.
We started off with anyway.
And so we didn't know, the first night we all went and we all pledged and we're like, yeah, okay, hi. And nobody really knew anybody except for those kind of people that you came in with. And Lori's birthday is in October. And so she decided to invite the entire pledge class to her house for a birthday party. And honestly, when Kristen and I were going, we're like, which one is Lori? We didn't know who we didn't know who.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
We also got into a huge fight because we got lost on the way there.
Got lost trying to find your house. Your
That's
house was not easy at the time.
It was before GPS.
Yes. For anything. Cell phones, anything. So we couldn't even call people to tell you when you're running late. Nothing. So we finally got to our house, and I think we were the last to leave. And
that's true.
I think we've been friends since then.
It was friendship at first sight. Does that mean?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah, love at first sight.
So when you were inviting us over, because you were inviting everybody, but
yes, right.
You knew that we both had power wheelchairs. So what was your first thought? What did you?
My first thought was, I think we need to use the basement because I had entry into our basement. Well, it was finished, so it's not that there was a dungeon basement.
Yes, it's very
but
nice.
I knew you could at least get in. So I think I was just concerned that you would be comfortable and that we could accommodate you and not make you have to feel like, you had to ask a stranger to help navigate and get in. And so we knew we could get you in through the garage.
Your house was actually very easy. I mean, we went into the garage. There was no steps.
Nope.
Right.
Through
Right
the
in.
doors.
Right
Into the
in.
laundry room.
Into the laundry room and into the family room type area.
Yep.
And so the party was pretty much all downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because
Because we're talking now a long time ago. Yeah.
30 years.
It was, right?
It was 30 years ago in October.
Huh? Yes. Jeepers crow. All right, so you wanted to make sure we were comfortable when we got to your house and that we were all... So then, after that, what was kind of your thought process where, I'm going to kind of stay friends with these two girls who didn't leave my house till all hours of the night that first day?
It is true. I don't know. I mean, I think it's, we just became friends. And so I think that we have a lot in common and some things we don't have in common. And so I guess in my mind, it's just typical friendship. It's funny because I was thinking about this a little bit. I feel like in the very beginning, I might have been more friends with you in the very beginning, and I almost wonder if it wasn't because you drove everywhere.
Probably.
And so I was always in the front seat talking to you, and you were always in the back seat.
I
And
used to
rem-
drive all the time.
all the time. And I remember at some point thinking, like, Kelly's back there, and I'm like, we need to like make sure include her in the conversation. But I feel like at first, because we were always driving places here, there, and everywhere, I feel like I was always up front with you, and so I got to know you a little bit better first.
Surprisingly, because usually people were friends with me just so they could be friends with Kelly.
Well, I mean,
I was the nicer one.
she is the nicer one. But I will say this.
She was.
And it sounds kind of silly, maybe just because you're twins, maybe it makes it okay. But I feel like for you got like it's a complete like package with the two of you.
between the two,
You complement each other. Like your strengths are so different that I think you just, for me, it's like not that separately you're not a friend to me, but I mean I think as it just
We're a whole
I
package.
don't know, it was a whole package. But I feel like that's true of the three of us together anyway.
Yeah.
Like it's always been that way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, I feel like we each complement
And
each
each
other.
other.
And there are things that I identify more with you, and there are things I identify more with you. And so that's just what makes it work.
Yep.
I don't identify anything with Kelly, but it's okay.
I bridge the gap.
Yeah. All right, so I had some questions actually
Okay.
that I have down here. Please hold. Oh, I didn't have my reading glasses. Okay, so
Not barking, just a little.
have my glasses on now. Can read a little bit better. So we talked about that. So, well, did you have any questions that you wanted to ask us at that point but didn't?
You mean way in the beginning?
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yes. I'm sure that's true. I
30
mean,
years ago.
30
Do you
years ago.
remember?
Can I remember the exact question? No. But I'll just say I think this is true of most people that we don't always, I think we're afraid to ask questions because we don't always know the right words. And so we let that sort of stop us from asking those questions
I
because
mean, people with disability,
I think it's people with disabilities, it's race, it's anything. I think it's diversity, inclusion. I think that if I think about people being sort of like nervous to say the wrong thing, so they don't say anything. So that's the way I would think about it. And I think probably that was true back when I was 18, for sure, that I didn't want to say something that might offend you. And I think that's, I think that sometimes prevents conversations from happening. I know that didn't quite happen with us because I'm pretty sure it was probably one night when we had a couple drinks, we had an I love you moment.
yes.
I didn't
My
drink.
best friend. and I think, I remember it. We were at your house and it was kind of a moment where we were like, what do I need to do to help you be able to come away with us? I think it was one of our...
That was the first thing. 'cause
And that,
we
for me, was
traveled a
really
lot
hard
for
to
the
do.
sorority.
We did. We traveled for the sorority. And I can't remember if there was a time you weren't able to go.
We didn't go. I don't think
The
like
first
the first.
one.
The first one.
Yeah.
And
It was
I
like in November.
Yes.
It was like a month after we probably.
Yep. And then one night we were at your house in East Greenwich and we probably had a couple drinks. We were like, and I think that probably for me was like what I think opened it up. I'm pretty sure I just said I drank underage at this point, but that
We
aside,
didn't.
it was just me. No, but like we had this sort of like kumbaya, I love you moment where I think I remember saying like, what is it that it will take for you to be able to come away with us?
Yeah.
And that I think for me, I needed like a drink in me to be able to ask you that question. So I think that probably is indicative of how most people feel like they're afraid to say things or ask questions.
Yep.
So I don't remember it specifically, but I think that was definitely one that was on my mind and was hard for me to just come out and say normally. So, yeah.
Yeah, because we were friends and we wanted to go.
Right.
We wanted to be able to. You wanted us to come.
Right.
Yeah, you couldn't have gone by yourself.
And well, she did, but
Did you?
that first trip, yeah, I think they
First
went.
trip I did.
Yeah, she was
I don't
fine.
remember
I mean, I didn't
It was
like
okay.
say, well, no, but I think that was when it occurred to me was like, what, how do you come with us? And I just didn't know how to ask you the questions. Like, what do you need from me? How can I help you? what do we need to do to make it happen? Because I really had no idea what kind of assistance you needed. And so I was,
and Kristen and I are very, very private about that. Like, you're not going to see on this channel, like, you know, a day in, like, how, you know, our life of how we get up in the morning. You know, some people do that, which is fine, and kudos for people who do that. That's just not something that we're comfortable doing, and we aren't comfortable sharing that kind of information. So
with anyone, never mind the whole world.
Right.
so why were you comfortable with me?
Right. Well, that's the thing. To let
Let me
Lori,
ask you.
yes, to let Lori in was a huge. That was really big for us. Like, it was huge for us. And I think it was just the comfort level that we had. It was just this.
I do remember though asking after that first night, because I think you slept over at our house.
Probably.
And, you know, we went over. So after, I'm like, so was it more than you thought it was going to be? Like, I was so nervous. She was going to be like, yeah, all right. Starting tomorrow.
Running scared. Like,
Yeah. But I think that's just what we were, the three of us, there was this friendship that was just kind of made everything comfortable.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were just going to do what we needed to do. And so glad we did, because we just had so much more fun being able to do all those things. And I know that you were great, because, like, a lot of the sorority was like, well, why can't you all stay with us? And why are you going to stay in your own room? And you were just like, we are. That's just what we're going to be doing. So just, you know.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, let it go, you know. And we stayed in some interesting places when we go away. I mean, obviously we were at college, so, you know, we all just stayed in cheap hotels. But I remember that one
wheelchair accessible room.
That was the garage.
The garage
was, yes. It was in Bangor, Maine.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a garage. Like, the hotel was
a hotel.
Well, like,
maybe it was a motel. But
it was a motel, and it was like rooms were all outdoor. Like, we went in, and then off to the side there was this building, which was the garage of whatever.
You could tell it was the garage.
First. I mean, it had like garage doors on the front.
Yeah.
It was a total
a garage.
Maybe like a 3-bay garage, but it was a garage.
It was a big room, which is how it made it, you know, one of the reasons it made it accessible. But there was a bed, and then there was a couch.
A pull-out couch.
And so
you
slept in the pull-out.
I don't even think I slept in all night. I think I just tried it, and then we're like, this isn't going to work. So let's just try to get out now.
You were in for the night.
Yeah. It was
low.
like she was on the floor, pretty much. This couch was, and we're just looking like, oh my God, how are we doing this?
Well, it was more like how are we going to do this in the morning and get you out of there? So we'll just deal with it in the morning.
Right, yeah. and we did. We figured it out. I don't think the next night we did that. We swapped out somehow.
Yeah.
I don't think we went to bed the next night. So I think
pretty much.
Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I remember you sleeping on a desk or something.
Yeah.
Pillow. Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where our friendship started, early and quick. Like,
we were all in from the beginning.
Yes. So when we were in college, of course, you know, we would go to a lot of different, you know, places and bars and restaurants and clubs, and we hadn't been to a lot of them, but Lori had. And she's like, oh yeah, no.
That doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, she was like club happy. Like, she was all, no. She had just you've known of these places. And so we'd be going, and we're like, well, can we get in? You know how she's like, yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just a couple stairs, it's fine.
A couple stairs, we'll get you in, no problem. So
Show
I
up.
think the
worst one was the Western. That Western bar.
Desperados.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's like 3 flights of stairs at 12. Yeah.
3 flights of stairs. And it wasn't like, oh, okay, there's stairs, you know, we're going to go. No, it was, no, we're here, you know, you're going. So.
All right. So we were part of a sorority with fraternity brothers. All these guys that were like happy to show how strong they were.
Yes, sure.
So.
Yes.
It was like, we'll get it done. I don't know. That's always isn't that how you've lived life? Like, I don't know. We'll just get it done.
True.
Like,
yes, that's very
I mean, have
true.
you ever gone on a vacation? You talk about your vacations and things like that and the problems you've had, and like, you still end up on them, and you still,
Yep,
you
we're
just
still on
figure it
there.
out.
Yeah.
We'll just
So
figure it
it's-
out.
yeah,
That's what we
it
did.
was going on since then. So I think the one place we went was 3
Yep.
flights of stairs
It was.
that we were carried up.
Mm-hmm. I
The
was so
hardest
scared
part,
the
though,
whole
is
time.
going down is the scary part.
The whole thing
I'm
was
sorry,
scary
I think
for
the
me.
whole process was scary. Yeah, I'm with you.
I mean, I was like putting on a brave face, like it's gonna be
Thanks.
fine. But I was like, holy smokes, like
They
please,
can
please.
drop her. Please don't drop my friend.
It's amazing all the people we trusted that we didn't really know at all.
We were young and stupid. It was
Yeah.
fine.
Not sure I would do that now, but
Never. But when you're 18,
oh, you only had
It's all
6
good.
steps. Great, you can do it.
we're
And then you look
fine.
back at that one bar we used to go to all the time, and it was like 4 stairs. Like that was so easy now compared to.
Oh, we went to the Coliseum. That was the place. That was fun. That was good times.
Good
That had
times.
4 stairs.
I don't even think it had any stairs.
No, that was a good place. The
Yeah.
other one we used to go to after every meeting was
Oh yeah,
the one that had the 4 stairs we
I
had to
don't even
get
know where
in.
that was.
the it was like a house, but the bottom floor was like a bar. Rough stone.
Oh yeah.
After every meeting we would go, and
That's
the
right.
brothers would have to help us get in.
I know, and
Luckily,
everybody
we
was
had
drinking.
a fraternity with our sorority, so we had a lot of the brothers who would help us get in and out of places.
Mm-hmm.
One being 3 flights of stairs.
It was fun.
Yeah, Laura's like, it's fine. It's gonna be
It's
fine.
still
It's
fine.
fine.
Still fine. Obviously, you're here. See, I was right.
We survived. We made it. And I'm thinking other hotels we actually didn't have big problems with, and because we were staying in some crazy places like throughout New England, like Bangor, Maine, and New Hampshire.
Was Bangor,
and-
Maine, where we had the hairpin turn?
No, that was North Adams.
Can I just tell you, I'll talk about that one for a second. That was the scariest moment of my life when we were going down that hairpin turn, and I'm thinking, dear God, she has her finger in something that looks like a rotary dial. Please, please let us survive the hairpin turn.
And
So,
we did.
That was like, I remember that clear as day.
I was an excellent driver.
You were an excellent driver, but I remember at that moment being like, we did that crazy, it was like side of the mountain
Yeah, it was a little,
turn, and
yeah.
I just remember, I'm like, oh, please let her know what she's
Down the
doing.
phone. Like
Pretty much. Like, she's got this rotary dial. I mean, that was what you drove. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't a steering wheel.
Nope.
Your finger was in a rotary dial,
Yeah.
basically. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, are we going to survive? But we did. See, again, it'll be fine. It's
Fine.
fine. It's fine.
All right. Well, I have a good story. Well, I don't have it, but you guys have a good story. Lori, I know everyone knows that you actually introduced Kelly to her future husband at Rhode Island College. Why don't you tell that story?
Jeez, no pressure. Okay. So, I always start
I
by...
always come out bad in this too, so
She really does.
Kind of does.
I mean, and we're still friends, amazingly. Godparents to each other's kids.
Kids, yeah.
Kind of a funny story. So, I dated Kelly's husband before she dated her husband.
She almost spit that out.
I don't know how you tell the story and you don't sound terrible, but no, actually,
No.
we'll put it in a nutshell version, where Michael and I dated for a very, very short period of time.
very short period.
Makes her feel better. So we determined.
And we were all very, like, we were all such good friends that we really just hung out all the time. Do I sound like I'm compensating?
Yeah, she's trying to
Okay.
explain why she had
Sorry.
designs on my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope. So we broke up, and then I think there was a time where you guys were all hanging out. I was not hanging out. All sorts of stuff was happening, and I just remember the night we were in
Oh God, I hated that night.
your apartment, and I was on the daybed.
Yep.
Ironically, that Michael had helped us build.
Yep.
Without directions, might add, which really annoyed me. But
One of the reasons they broke up.
I mean, it was clear. Look, I mean, we're much better as friends, and that was okay. It was short-lived. But yes, I just remember it was total silence. But I literally, when someone could say things like you could feel something hanging in the air,
Yep.
that was exactly what it felt like. And it was Lori, are you awake? And I was like, so Michael and I have been hanging out. And we basically got to the point where you were like, are you okay if we go on a date?
I didn't want to be there, but I had no choice.
She was silent the entire
I
time.
didn't say a word.
Did not say a word.
Tried to pretend she was asleep.
And then I was like, yeah, it's fine. And you were like, whew. And then I just remember all of a sudden it was like another country I heard from.
Yeah.
Kristen was like, oh, God, I'm so glad that's over. So, yes, it was definitely an interesting thing. And it was definitely meant to be. And it was meant to be the way it happened. And that's why things happen the way they do. I was able to introduce you to your husband.
Yes.
Although your daughter was a little concerned when she found out that. Yeah.
Well, Emmeline, I mean, it was only like a year or two ago.
Then she
When
found
we,
out.
like, dropped
Where is
some-
Emmeline? Now
some-
she's been waiting for this
We
story to come
dropped
up.
a clue, and she was so stunned.
Oh, there she is.
Talk about my experience.
Yes.
Oh, she's going to talk about her experience.
Okay.
How stunned were
I
you?
think it was Halloween.
It was
Yes.
Halloween.
Or a Halloween
was
party.
it?
Yeah.
It was a Halloween party. And we were sitting, what's your friend's name, Gina?
Yes, Gina.
I was
Yep.
sitting with Gina and we were just talking and somehow someone's like, oh, and you went, oh, when I dated Michael. And I turned and I was like, when you dated Uncle Mike, I was shocked. I was like,
Yes, I mean, our children call each other aunt, uncle.
Nine or 10.
Like, we're,
Right.
yes,
Right.
godmothers to our children.
Uncle Mike, you could have been my dad. Isn't that nice?
Well, not really, but
No, I don't think that's how that works.
They basically blew her mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it changed the course of the rest of my life. I haven't been the same since. That's my story.
and she's into theater, as
Yes.
you can all
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emmeline.
No problem.
But yeah, so it's kind of our funny story. Michael and I like to, when we were looking for houses, my husband Rich and I, when we were looking for houses,
She's very happily married.
Happily
I
married.
love Rich.
He's a good
Yeah,
guy.
everything's great. Not
Yes.
love Rich.
Right. Well, you
Rich.
know,
Yeah.
some days I don't know, but anyway, no, I'm just kidding. No, but when we were looking for houses, Michael and I used to have fun going to. Michael would sub in for Rich sometimes when he couldn't go, and we would just be like, we'd just drop the little bomb to like the realtor that was showing us around, and just be like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, well, we used to date, but well, I mean, now he's just here to help me buy a house, and it was just kind of it was sort of funny. So anyway, we like telling that story. So yeah, anyway, that's it. I like to say you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Your
all worked
happy
out.
marriage and your
Yes.
2 children.
She
Yes.
didn't date anyone that I dated afterwards.
No. We have very different tastes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, talking about getting into places and how difficult it can be, there's people's houses, our family and friends that we have that, it can be very challenging. And we don't expect people to, make their house accessible for us or to purchase a house that we can completely, get into without any issues. But when Lori had bought her house,
Which
she
we're
has,
in here. We're in her house right
Yes,
now.
this is her
we
lovely
didn't
home.
say that we had actually moved a whole building instead of just a room
a
in our
room.
house.
Yes.
We got to leave the house today.
We've been talking about COVID. We've been kind of moving around in different rooms in our house because
Should
there's
we
really
be
nothing
wearing
else to do.
masks?
Well, no, because you're in our small group.
This is our
Yeah.
social group. We are in our small social group of 10. So
Yes. Sorry.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah. Good.
So when Lloyd bought her house, we could get in, and we have ramps, which we do use at a lot of different places, which are wonderful, and they have helped us get into a lot of places. And so we used that to get in when Lloyd first bought our house, but it was her front's a little steep.
They're steep.
That's steep. And so
We could never do it alone. Like, we could never just come over.
right,
Right.
like, which is kind of weird. You can't get over to your best friend's house and just say, "Hey, but we would need my husband here or her husband, or at least her here to help with, putting the ramps down.
And your two nephews, my two nephews, her two sons.
My two sons. And so what Lori and Rich ended up doing, which was absolutely wonderful, was they have a ramp that they put on the side of their house that goes up to their deck in the back, and then they have no steps to get into the house from that door, and we can just come right in. So when we come over, there is no, pulling ramps out and, worrying about, is it raining, snowing, whatever. We can just get right in, and we have video of that, which we will definitely be showing. Maybe while I'm talking, we'll be showing it as well. Of what a great job they did, and how it's just on the side of their house, and it goes right on in. And why did you do that?
It was cheaper than an in-law. No, I'm just kidding. No, when we did our addition to our kitchen, so when we moved into the house, we knew we would be doing an addition. Rich and I both work from home, so we knew that the house was a little too small for us. But we knew right away that we would add on. So when we did that, we added the deck, and in full honesty, it was my mom hadn't been doing so great at one point, and we realized in hindsight it was just a bunch of medication that was sort of making her feel that way. But I was a little bit worried that we would have to put an addition on and make it an in-law, and all of a sudden one day she came in and she looked fabulous, and she said, I'm done with my medication, and that was crazy. So we said, great, we're done with that. So it literally was an in-law or a ramp, and so the ramp got put up. But it just, to me, I don't know, it was one of those things where I don't know, it just, I feel like I needed to make sure that you could just get into my house without having any barrier there. And so if we could make that happen, then we wanted to make it happen. And we could, so we did. And
it's a lovely ramp. You'll see.
It is, and all the old people like it too. So it works out for everybody.
Really does.
Everybody likes it, so it works out great. But no, I think it wasn't really... I don't know. There wasn't a lot of thought.
People like it?
Well, the old people like it. They do. When the old people walk up, oh, this is so much better than a bunch of steps, right?
Yeah.
They do say it. So, it's kind of funny because it works, for everybody. But I don't know. It wasn't really so much a thought. I don't know. There wasn't much of a thought process around it. It was just, I wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to get into the house, and you can, and that's it.
It works great.
Yeah.
It does. It's awesome. So that's what friends do. All right. So what did you learn about us, or, as you were going through meeting and talking with us, what was the one thing that you kind of...
And we started traveling together, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We have traveled a lot. We've went to sorority stuff together. We've traveled personally a lot together when we were in college with our families. Our families have all traveled a lot. So what do you remember? I know what you're going to say, the one thing that you remember. So fine, go ahead, Sarah.
I remember our trip to Daytona, and we were on the plane. Although that was an interesting, I think back, well, I don't know if it's the same now, because I don't feel like I've been that close to you on getting on a plane. But I remember that was definitely a whole process in itself, was getting you guys onto a plane. Your batteries.
I think by ourselves, right? We've traveled with our families, which has been,
Right. But, this was the first time we actually got on a plane together.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was definitely an interesting thing. And where were you sitting? I don't remember, but I was sitting next to Kelly. And, you were probably on the opposite side, right? And I remember looking at Kelly because, I don't know, is it too private to say, you had your thing? Kelly had to have this specific book that gave her a certain height and all the stuff, and the wheelchair. So it was extremely, complex. But when you were suddenly not in your wheelchair, but you were in a chair next to me, I looked over and realized how short you were. I was like, God, you're really short. Like, I mean, I think you were like...
And that's what she said to me. She looks at me, she's like, oh my God, you are really short.
Well, and see, I guess we got past the
Yeah,
feeling
probably.
weird about asking questions at that point because
Yeah.
it was like, God, you're short. I had no idea how much height your wheelchair gave you. But
Yeah.
yes.
When we were sitting in the same level, and then you were, and then I'm looking, I'm like, God, really, I am. Because you were really tall compared to me. I'm
Not
looking
tall.
like,
I'm only like 5'7".
I know you're not, but yeah,
Yeah.
I was
was
pretty
interesting.
short.
So that makes me it makes me think of a question that I wanted to ask you. Is something that always comes up when you think of when you read articles about how to interact with people who have disabilities and don't just open a door, ask, can I open a door? Don't just reach and help, can I help? And I
Right,
think
but then there's some people like you who used to forget that we couldn't reach things, like on high counters, and I'd be like,
can you help me?
get that for me?
All right, that's totally not where I was going with this, but yes. I mean, I guess there's that. Like, I guess you get to a point at some point when you know someone long enough that you sort of just forget and you don't really see it.
Yeah.
But
Go ahead, continue with what you were talking about.
I was thinking about leaning on a wheelchair. Or, I know that I do that, right? Like, I will lean on you, and I know that's really typically not something you would want to do. I certainly wouldn't do it with a stranger. But how do you both feel about that? Kind of the concept that people sometimes take a liberty, that is a bit of you. And so...
Yeah, I mean, I don't like people thinking that it's just okay to touch my chair and sit on it or stand on the top of it like some people used to do.
Not you.
Not you.
Oh, no, but we used to ride around the campus.
Well, yes, we used to do that.
That was kind of fun. Okay, anyway.
But yeah, I mean, it is, I don't think somebody would want me going up to them and just kind of hugging them all of a sudden when you didn't know them.
Right.
There's
Right.
lots of people that just want to sit on our laps. It's very strange. I remember I was at a wedding once, and this man was determined that he was going to sit on my lap before the weekend. It was a weekend wedding. It was before the weekend was over, and at that point, I was like, there was no way you were ever going to do that. Even though it wasn't really a big deal, but it kind of is because he just kind of assumed it was fine.
Right.
I don't.
And I think we're fine with our friends and people we
yeah.
know, and yes,
I mean,
that's
your kids used to use us like a jungle gym.
right. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I don't really like people thinking that, oh, can I just put this here or can I lean this up against you? Well, no, that's actually me.
Right.
This is part of me.
Right.
So I'd prefer not to be your umbrella holder and your,
We're not pack mules.
yeah.
That's not
Oh,
Except when we go away. Then
Except on trips. When,
So there's the concept of familiarity, and
Right.
if we know you and you're comfortable. So how do you feel about people asking you questions, like strangers or children or?
I want children to, and I encourage children to, and I think that's the best thing is for children to ask, because I don't want parents to be like, oh no.
And that's what happens, because the minute a parent says that, then that child automatically thinks, oh, there's something wrong with that. I shouldn't,
or there's something wrong with them. Or I
Good
shouldn't,
point.
So, kids, I love to answer questions to kids because they're so innocent and honest. Yeah.
Right.
And adults, I guess there's a time and place for them to be able to do that as well. I don't want to discourage people from that, but again, I think time and place when it comes to adults asking questions like that.
No, that's fair. I don't know why I just thought about the time she got stuck in the double door. Is it? Where were we, Boston?
Oh God.
I don't know. Why
Yeah,
did
it
I
was.
think of that?
Yeah, it was Boston, right? Yeah, I got stuck in the double doors.
Was
the
it you?
automatic. Yeah, it was me.
Why did I think it was you? It was you?
Yeah, it was me.
Oh, huh.
The double doors got stuck on me.
I was
Like
mortified.
multiple times.
Multiple times.
Oh my God, but we were laughing hysterically. Hey, look, sometimes your high heel gets stuck in a cobblestone, and sometimes you get stuck in a double door.
I don't like
I don't know.
cobblestones either, though.
I know.
Those are really bumpy.
I don't know why how did I think it was you? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it was her.
Well, that might be
'Cause,
like a
her
twin
and I
thing.
were
You're not
yes.
interchangeable.
No,
you know.
whatever, yeah.
Maybe think of that. Anyway, that was kind of, we've had some funny times over the years. For sure.
We have.
So apparently you said that you remember our first fight. Or not about it, but you remember it. I don't, but...
I don't remember what it was about, but I remember, like, I'll say symbolically, I remember our first fight because I think and I think this is true of, again, I'll bring up other people sort of being nervous about asking questions or nervous about saying the wrong thing. And I think that there probably was a period of time that even when although we bonded very quickly, I don't think I wanted to argue with you. Well, all right. I didn't want to argue with you.
Yes.
I mean, everyone wants to argue with Kristen. Well, or doesn't, is afraid to. But anyway.
Thank you. That's the right
So,
word. That's
But
the
like
right-
early on,
but early on, like I don't remember what the heck it was or
Yeah.
what we would have fought about. But I remember that was the first time for me that I think I finally was like, okay, I realized that I was mad, and I told you I was mad, and it was okay to be mad with you. Like, I don't know. It's almost like you weren't fragile. You weren't, you know,
right,
disabled. It wasn't like anything like that. Like,
You're probably
to
just
me,
mad
it
at
was
me.
almost, I was probably just mad at you. But it was, for me, I think, for me personally, it was almost like, for me, the next step. Like, all right, we got past that. Like, not that I viewed you differently, but I think there was like almost a tiptoeing around a little bit.
Yeah.
Even though there was so much closeness and all that other stuff, I feel like for me that was like the moment where I was like,
'Cause it
all
was
right, I
still
can
first.
be pissed off at you.
right, because it
And
was
it's
still
okay.
first.
Yes. Yeah. Like I was mad. Like I don't even remember. Like I said, I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was, but it was like it was okay to be mad, and I was kind of like I let you know I was mad, and it was like, all right, well, I don't know. I just felt like that was the like for me. It's like not every. I think people sort of feel like tiptoeing to some degree
Yeah.
is the only way I can think about it or express it. But
Yep.
that was the day I was like, yeah, all right, we're in.
Yeah.
We're all in. We're
We're
friends.
all in now. That's it.
Like I'm mad.
We'll be at the assisted living facilities
Yeah,
together.
that's right. Rocking in the rocking chairs. Yep. So anyway, that was it.
So, I mean, to wrap this up, we kind of wanted to do this, one, because it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And two,
Excuse to have some wine.
Like, what are we?
Cheers.
But I think it was more to explain to people that people with disabilities, they have the same kind of relationships that able-bodied people have. There's people that they all have best friends, they all date, they get married, they have children. It's
They date their best friend's boyfriend.
boyfriends. I didn't.
Sorted. Yes.
But I think that's kind of why we wanted to do this, because I think there's probably a lot of people out there that sadly don't realize that don't realize that people have those kinds of relationships, and that there are people that want to or don't mind or don't see. There are just some people that get it. They get the whole thing, and then unfortunately there's some that don't, and that's kind of what we want to try to get education out to people.
Lori
You got
gets
it. You got it.
You got it.
Or else we wouldn't have been friends with you.
Well, okay then.
And how lucky you must feel.
I feel so lucky.
So thank you very much for coming. We're going to end this now because they've had like a bottle of wine between them. So before things get out of hand, we're gonna close it out right now. So thanks for thanks for watching, and we hope to see you. Don't forget, what don't we?
Like, share, subscribe.
Yes. So do that, please.
Bye.
Bye.